Welcome to Intuitive Flow. I'm your host, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energetic healer, medium, entrepreneur, and mindset mentor with a mission to help you step into your fullest potential by giving you the tools to rid yourself of limiting beliefs, love yourself unconditionally, and create the reality that you dream of living. It is time to transform your mindset, get unstuck, and step into the highest frequency version of yourself who has unshakable confidence. I am even answering your juiciest questions regarding all things intuition, manifestation, personal development, self-love, self-image, and helping you work through your dilemmas, intuitively guiding you to expand your mindset and level up in life. So turn up the volume and get excited for this intuitive flow. Hey guys, and welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. I am really excited about today's episode, as always, because I got this text from a friend the other day, and she sent me a podcast about attachment styles, anxious attachment styles, and she was like, "You would absolutely love this. You should listen to it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." Anxious attachment survivor right here. And she was like, "I've never heard about this." And I was like, "What?" But also, I guess I understand because I didn't even understand what that was until I got into the work that I now live, breathe, and teach. So I realized that I haven't really talked about it here on the podcast. And I would love to jump into the different styles of attachment and what they are, how they affect us in relationships, and how we can heal from them if we have anything other than a secure attachment style. So today we're diving into something that impacts every single relationship that we have, which is our attachment styles. I'll break down what different attachment styles are, how they show up in our life, where they come from, and most importantly, how you can start to shift to secure attachment style through the self-love and self-image work that I now swear by. I'm also going to be, of course, weaving in my own personal story because trust me, as we know, I was not always secure in relationships, but the healing that happened when I started loving myself really did change everything, and it leaked out into all areas of my life, as we know that it does. Okay, guys, before we get into today's episode, which is so freaking good, I'm so excited for you to hear this episode. But before we get into it, I have to talk about the fact that I am opening up another round of quantum leaping over obstacles, my intuitive reads class. So if you are interested in getting an intuitive read, you can ask me literally any question that you have regarding your life, manifestation, career, love, finances, whatever it is. We can get to the energetic root cause of what is going on, and I can give you the exact physical and energetic tools that you need to shift and heal and quantum leap into the reality that you are desiring to live. I have 12 spots available, 11 spots actually now. One of them has been taken. This class is going to be held May 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is a Saturday in California. And I really hope to see you there. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and put all of the links for the class in the show notes below. Check out some testimonials and all the details and claim your spot. All right, let's get into today's episode. Okay, so we've broken this episode up into 4 parts, and part 1 is all about what the different attachment styles are. So the first and best attachment style that we could be is secure attachment. This means that you feel safe both giving and receiving love. You communicate openly. Conflict doesn't feel like a death sentence, and you trust that you're lovable and worthy of love and just worthy, period, right? So you're not feeling any of the other ones I'm about to list right now. What is anxious attachment? You crave closeness, but fear abandonment. You might overthink texts, feel intense anxiety when someone pulls away, or base your worth on how much attention you get. Hi, this was me. Anxious attachment survivor right here. I was a little bit anxious, and I was also disorganized attachment as well. Looking back on my relationships, I can pinpoint how this has affected my entire life. And that's why I just felt so called to get on here and share this information with you guys, because learning about it and learning how to heal it if you have anything other than a secure attachment style literally will change your life. And I realized that I was doing this without knowing anything about attachment styles. I learned to shift from an anxious and disorganized attachment style to a secure attachment style simply because of the self love and self image work that I was doing, or then that I continue to do on a daily basis. But moving forward, so we've got the avoidant attachment is our next one. So we did secure attachment, anxious attachment. Avoidant attachment is when you value independence so much that closeness feels overwhelming. You might shut down emotionally or push people away if they get too close. How many of us, I'm going to get into exactly where these come from and how they show up in our relationships, but how many of you guys can say that you've experienced this either with a partner or with somebody that you were dating, or maybe even with a friend? You guys, this stuff isn't even just with romantic relationships either. This literally affects how you interact with people. If you own a business, if you are creating friendships, right? It's really important to get to know that person that you're desiring to connect with on a deeper level, if that's the case. Even if it's just a friend, or even if it's a significant other, or even if it's in business, it's important to learn what their attachment style is so that you can learn how to communicate to them better in a way that feels best for them and they feel understood, they feel seen, they feel heard, so on and so forth. When you are disorganized attachment, like what this means is a mix of anxious and avoidant. So you want connection desperately, but also you fear it. It's that push pull dynamic. So it's like you want them to come close. Oh, but you're too close now, so stay away. It's often rooted in unresolved trauma. So I'll give you like personal examples of each one. Yeah, each one. I think I could do each one. If I can't, then I'll just give an example that I make up. So, personal example of secure attachment. Obviously, that is this relationship that I'm in now with Bryson is the first relationship that I can confidently say that I have secure attachment style in, meaning that I feel safe giving and receiving love. I know that I am worthy of that love. I know that I do not have to do anything to earn trust or to earn the loyalty or to earn feeling like I am enough, right? We communicate openly. We have no fear around if there's something that's bothering me. I'm not like afraid to bring it up to him because like I'm not afraid of him like breaking up with me because I'm feeling a certain way and maybe he doesn't feel let's say like comfortable, or he like I'm not afraid of him getting mad and like blowing up and then like dumping me because I talked to him about something that's bothering me. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what it means when it says conflict doesn't feel like a death sentence. Well, in past relationships, like in relationships in my past, I felt like if I would hold things in that were bothering me and I would sit down and be in the corner and be like the good little girl who didn't say anything and who just like was perceived as perfect and like the perfect girlfriend. And I did everything. I went above and beyond, very much so people pleased, because I was afraid of them leaving me. And this example that I'm giving, I literally remember in my very first relationship, I did this. My first relationship was absolutely terrible, very, very abusive. And I got into that relationship with an anxious and disorganized attachment style. And I just remember him basically, telling me, if you don't ditch soccer practice and ditch school and come hang out with me instead, I'm going to break up with you. So it was like that fear that like I created that in my life because subconsciously, consciously I didn't want that, but subconsciously that's what felt safe. And what I mean by that is by him having the, like, love and the care and the compassion on, like, a string dangling, in front of my face, like a carrot dangling in front of my face, and I'm on a treadmill, right? Like, that's the vision that I get. By him doing that, it always made me had to prove myself or to be a certain way or to do certain things in order to deserve love. And in my childhood, I felt like I had to prove myself to earn love, or I had to be a good girl to earn praise, to earn validation from from my dad specifically. And then when it came to um like the disorganized attachment, that was a mix of both my mom and my dad, because I don't want to throw my parents under the bus. They did the best they could with the resources that we have. I know that I've talked about them on the podcast before, and I there's no way around it when it comes to this, because we adapt these attachment styles from childhood. And so my mom has struggled with alcohol dependency, and in that comes this like give and take. Like 1 second she's super loving and caring and oh god, this brings up a lot of emotions. But whoa. 1 second she's like loving and caring and wanting to be there and wanting to do things, and the next she's not. So, and that's just what alcohol does, and it's a terrible disease. And my heart goes out to anybody who has grown up with a parent who has struggled with alcohol abuse. With that being said, that's where these two attachment styles come from for me personally. And those are examples of how our childhood can truly like mold the relationships that we get into. So going back to the story of like, my ex-boyfriend from literally high school dangling, his love and affection and caring in front of my face, and I had to prove and do things in order to earn that. Well, I subconsciously created that because as a child, I had to learn how to adapt to feel safe, right? So in a secure attachment style, it it means, like, basically both of your parents were there, they were loving, they were caring, they, made your emotions feel valid, and they made you feel loved unconditionally. Whereas if you didn't get that as a child, you had to learn how to adapt, and the reason that you felt like you had to adapt was because that's what kept you safe. So when you are programmed, your subconscious is programmed at such a young age, from the age of like 2 to I think it's like 7. I think it's like 7. Don't quote me on that. Or we're like a sponge. You know what I'm saying? So when we adapt these, our nervous system is literally created in that time. And that's our subconscious believe that is what's safe. And that is what our central nervous system gets used to. So that's what we create for ourselves in our future. Okay. So if you have a kid, I want you to take these into consideration. Like I want you to think about each and every single one of them. And I want you to think about how your actions affect your child. And I know that I don't have kids, but I'm saying this from a place of like, I was the kid who was affected by these things. And I've said this so many times is I will never, ever, ever make somebody feel the way that my parents have made me feel. Like I will do my best to be the best parent because I do not want to put a child through anything that I have been through in my past. And I get so emotional about this because I'm so passionate about it. And I've just been through the ringer when it comes to this shit. And for the longest time, I didn't talk about it because a fear of upsetting somebody or fear of sharing my emotions and how they had made me feel. And it was almost also like I didn't want to see it. While doing this work, I also realized that there's a lot of things that happened in my childhood on both ends of my mom and my dad, where I was blaming my dad for so much and not looking at my mom because my mom was my primary caregiver and I love her with all of my heart. And to 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 comprehend that she not um on purpose, this is all just doing the best we can with the resources that we have, right? But I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see how she had hurt me. I didn't want to see how she had fucked me up. And so I pushed it to the side. I blacked it out. And the more that I heal and the more that I get in touch with my intuition, the more my higher self sends me these messages, these downloads, and these memories, the more they open up, and the more I remember because I'm finally getting to the place where I'm able to work through it. Because your higher self isn't going to give you anything that you're not ready to heal through. So the more that I heal, the more I am able to see. And so it was really hard for me to be like, oh shit, like my mom fucked me up just as much, if not worse than my dad, which all for a reason. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to share this with you if I hadn't gone through the things that I've been through. Getting back into this, an anxious attachment style is this fear of abandonment if you do something wrong. Or it might look like constantly checking your phone to see if they've texted you. And then if they haven't texted you, like you get anxiety when it pulls away. Like this is something that I literally just like recently healed within the last 2 years. Like it's crazy to think about. Before I met Bryson and I was dating, and I was like in this situationship, and I would hear from him, and then like I wouldn't hear from him for a day, and I would get all anxious and felt like he was pulling away, and then I would have to talk myself down of like it's okay. Like if he pulls away, you're going to be okay. Right? And that's where this work comes into play. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm 100% healed because I'm not. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like the work that I teach, the tools that I give inside of Glowed Up is what helps me talk myself off of a ledge. You know what I'm saying? So, like, instead of overthinking things, I'm able to pull myself back, take this thing, whatever it is that I'm making mean something about myself, take it off of the pedestal, get neutral about it, come back to myself and see how I have everything that I need within me and that nothing outside of me can fill the void. I'm the only one who can fill the void, right? So I have to constantly remind myself that. Well, I used to. I don't have to as much anymore, obviously, because I've been doing this for so long. But it was hard. And especially in those moments where you get, that anxiety comes up because you feel like somebody's pulling away. Well, you've got to get to the point where you know that if they do pull away or if they do leave, like that's their loss. You can't base your worth on how much attention you get either. That was a whole other thing that I fucking did. I mean, I used to have an Instagram and it was called Kayla Cakes. And the only reason why it was called Kayla Cakes was because I posted my ass on it all the time. Don't worry. It's still there, but I took down all the ass pics. So you can't see them anymore. But yeah, like I used to just crave attention. The reason that I started getting so many tattoos is because I wanted the attention. And it's just crazy to think of how much the shit affects you and your life and who you become. But okay, going on to the example of avoidant attachment. You value your independence so much that closeness feels overwhelming. You might shut down emotionally or push people away if they get too close. I've never struggled with this, luckily, but I've definitely experienced situations where I've been in relationships with a person who has this kind of attachment style. Now, looking back on like dating people and thinking about past relationships, like this is something that I've definitely experienced in somebody else, not something that I've experienced in myself. So it's like 1 second they're like into you, but then they get like, oh no, like this is too much, like you're too much, and then they tell you you're too much and they make it seem like it's you, but really it's them. It's their attachment style. It's the fact that they get overwhelmed if somebody gets too close to them. And so they shut down emotionally and they push people away. I definitely experienced a person or two like that. And last is the disorganized attachment. So the example of this is just it's a mix of the anxious attachment style and then avoidant attachment style. So this is, like I said, that push-pull dynamic. It's like, "Come close now. Oh, but wait, no, it's too much. Oh, but" it's like that hot and cold, emotionally unavailable, right? Like, I always talk about how I've healed myself from attracting emotionally unavailable men. Well, the reason I was, consistently attracting emotionally unavailable men wasn't just because I was emotionally unavailable within myself. That definitely, like, that I'll get into that in a second, but, like, it was also because I felt that's what my subconsciously, that's what felt safe to me, was that, like, push-pull dynamic because that's what I got with my mom with her, um, alcohol problem. So, that is an example of that situation. It's, like I said, rooted in unresolved trauma. Your attachment style, like, because you are like your central nervous system and your subconscious is rooted in believing that whatever your attachment style is, like that's what keeps you safe. So you're going to treat yourself that way too. And then that's why it's reflected to you. So because you think that, let's say it's for my example, anxious attachment or disorganized attachment, because subconsciously my nervous system feels like that's what's safe. I'm going to be that way toward myself. I'm going to create that. I'm going to be emotionally unavailable towards myself. And because I'm emotionally, because like subconsciously, I feel like that's safe because it's not safe to express your emotions. It's not safe to like tell people how you're feeling because if you tell people how you're feeling, like they get uncomfortable, right? Like it was this whole thing. Like I felt like I couldn't be like that towards myself. And because of that, we all know the universal law of reflections, the world a giant mirror. So the world reflected that to me, and that's what I attracted into my life. So that is why this work is so freaking important, you guys. Like, I'm not just preaching self love and self image, like, for nothing. Like, I'm doing this because this is the work that truly affects your entire life. Like, it affects so many different areas other than your romantic relationship as well. All right. Let's get into where attachment styles come from. So, I mentioned that our attachment styles are mostly formed in early childhood based on how our parents or caregivers responded to us. So, if our needs were consistently met, we likely developed secure attachment. If they were ignored or met inconsistently, or if caregivers were scary, mean, we learned to adapt to survive. It is not your fault if you have an insecure attachment pattern. Your brain was literally wired. Remember how I said this? Your brain was literally wired that way to protect you, to keep you safe. However, however, I want you to remember that it is your responsibility to heal this. If you want to change your life, you've got to change and heal and shift your attachment style because you can rewire it. You can. I did it. I am living, walking proof that it is possible. And there are so many others, I'm sure. And I just want you to remember it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal it if you want to change, if you want to change your reality and you want a different situation when it comes to relationships, even romantically, in business, in friendships, whatever it may be. So, as I mentioned, I personally had both the anxious and disorganized attachment style. Relationships often felt like emotional roller coasters. I would overthink every interaction. And at the same time, I would push people away when they got too close because I was afraid of getting hurt. I would think that I was ready for dating, and then somebody would give me attention, and then I would love the attention, right? Because that's what that's all about. And then I would push them away because I would fear that they would leave me when they got to actually know who I was, because that seemed to be the case. When I got into this work, I wasn't consciously trying to heal my attachment style. I didn't even know what attachment styles were. I was just trying to heal myself and come back to who I was, and like figure out who the fuck Mikaela was and why Mikaela is the best person in the whole world. I had to come back to that, and I had to truly get my subconscious on board as well. And it wasn't until I started doing this deep self love work and shifting my self image and reparenting my inner child and calming my central nervous system that this started to change. But little by little, without even realizing it, I became secure in my relationship, and I didn't have the same fears as I once did anymore. I trusted myself. I trusted my relationships. And how I did that, rewiring the subconscious brain, like reparenting, going back and asking yourself, like, why am I like this? Right? Doing a lot of journaling, doing the shadow work, sitting down and like taking time to reflect on your life. That's the only way that you're going to be able to heal, is if you take the time to do it. You have to be intentional about it. It's not just going to happen. It's going to take time. And even when you think that you've mastered one level of healing, you've got this whole other level of healing right around the corner. And that's what I meant kind of in the beginning when I talked about your higher self is never going to share anything with you that you're not ready to heal. And it might not be specifically like a voice in your head, but because it's not always like that for me. It's not always a download that I've got, that I've channeled. It's also, for instance, I'll give you a perfect fucking example of this. Is I went to my this past weekend, I went to my stepsister's. Well, my mom was married for 5 years, and not to my dad. And this guy had two daughters, and one of them got married. I mean, she was my stepsister for longer than 5 years. They were married for 5 years. I think they were together for like 7 or 8 years. But we were sisters from like age, I think, 7 to 13. And I don't know if the math's there, but whatever. You get the idea. That whole like part of my childhood's very like in and out, very blurry. But I went to her wedding. She got married. She invited me to her wedding. So Bryson and I went, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to her, and she's telling me, we're just talking and catching up and uh, sharing about our past, talking story about, you know, past experiences that we've experienced together. And she's kind of filling in these missing parts that I blacked out because I didn't want to remember, because I have my mom in such a, uh, you know, I love her so much, and she's just in like a sacred place in my heart, I guess. And so I blacked these parts out, and my stepsister was able to um, share them and fill them in with me and be like, no, like, this is what happened. And I know that she's telling the truth because, one, nobody would fucking lie about that shit. And two, I trust her. I'm also, my intuition, obviously, like, I know who I can trust and who I can't. And also, when she was telling the story, I could literally, it was like the fucking, the vision, the memory just flooded in. And it was, I'm not going to get into the story because it's just like a lot. Bryson was sitting there listening to me, and he was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't realize. Yeah, like, I've told him stories, I've told him some things, but he's like, I would never think that that would be something that your mom would do. And I'm like, things used to be different. She's gotten better now to an extent. But I digress. I'm not going to share this on the podcast. Just know that there was pieces that, my stepsister was able to share with me that helped me realize that I have this whole other level of healing to step into. And I think that's what makes this work so fucking beautiful. It's like, it's never ending, but like, that's literally what we're here for on earth. Like, we're here on earth to learn lessons, to heal, and then to teach those lessons to raise the frequency of the collective. And that's exactly what I'm doing by sharing my story here on this podcast and in this episode. So, and a lot of what helped me heal all of this and continue to heal and the work that I continue to do now is exactly what I teach inside of Glowed Up. Now, if you have what Glowed Up is my self-paced 6 week, I think it has 8 modules though in it now, self-love and self-image mastery course, which will help. This is the work that helped me heal my anxious and disorganized attachment style without even realizing it. Because here's the thing. When you come back home to yourself and you love yourself and you learn how to like yourself, because there's a difference between love and like, right? Like, you can love a family. And I got this from this was not me. I got this from a podcast episode, but I heard him talking about how like love and like is different. And love is, you can love somebody, but not like somebody. Like, you could love a family member, but not like them. Whereas you can, like is earned. Like is something that somebody earns from you, right? And so, do you like yourself? Ask yourself that. Like, do I like myself? And if you can't confidently say yes, then you've got work to do. And that's where this self-love and self-image work comes into play. And the reason that this work is so important, like loving yourself and coming home to yourself is so important, is because when you are fully like good with you, like you are 100% in love with yourself, and you know that you are the hottest fucking thing that's since sliced bread that's walked the earth, and you know that you are worthy and you know that you are enough, then you do not need anything outside of yourself for love, praise, validation, and you become secure in yourself. And when you are secure in yourself and who you are and what you bring to the table, and you are that authentic version of yourself, then you are going to become that more secure, attached person, securely attached. Like, you're going to have more of a secure attachment style. Whereas if you have this like self-love and self-image hole in your creator field, then you're looking outside of yourself for validation, for love, for praise, for feeling like you're enough, whatever it may be. And that's not doing you or anyone else in your life a service. So we've got to patch up those holes, and we've got to remember who the fuck we are, and we've got to figure out who we are and what we bring to the table and how incredible we are just for being ourselves, for simply being born, for simply being on this earth, period, end of story. Now I want to go into how to start rewiring your attachment style. These are some simple but very, very powerful steps, okay? So number 1, self-awareness. Obviously, like, catch your patterns. Don't judge. Do not judge. So this could look like, oh, I'm freaking out because I haven't heard back from the guy that I'm dating in 3 hours. But instead of freaking out, I'm going to put my hand over my chest and tell myself that I am loved and I am safe, and that they're not not texting me back because they don't care about me, but they are probably busy and they'll get back to me when they can. And the only reason why I'm freaking out is because my nervous system doesn't feel safe right now. That's why I have my hand over my heart, and I am letting it know that I am safe and I am loved. All right, number 2 is inner child work. So comfort your younger self, be the parent that you needed. Like, this work is seriously so fun. This could look like throwing yourself a fucking birthday party and buying a cake and in, all the things. It could look like um, coloring. It could look like going outside and playing with your dog and just being silly and doing whatever feels good to you. It could be treating yourself when maybe you were told that you couldn't do something and now you're an adult and you know you can. So you do. It could look like sitting with yourself in meditation or journaling on a time where you were not treated the way that you know you actually deserve to be treated, and going back to that time and visualizing yourself now giving your younger self a big hug and letting them know that at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay and that they are loved. It's simple, but it's so powerful. Number 3 is nervous system regulation. So breath work, meditation, EFT tapping, all incredible modalities. Obviously, intuition and like booking a session with me would be incredible if you have specific situations that you know you need to work through, or maybe you just want to get to the root cause of why you have the specific attachment style that you have. We can quantum leap the healing that it would typically take if you were to do it by yourself. And I can channel the exact physical and energetic tools that you need to shift and heal whatever it is that you need to shift and heal to get you to a secure attachment style. And then, of course, there's self love and self image healing. So you want to see yourself as the safe space and affirm your worth daily. Let yourself know that you are the shit. Let yourself know that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are cared for, that you are worthy, that you are enough, because you are. And last, but definitely not least, small, safe experiences. So practice trusting safe people and allowing yourself to be seen and loved. Because when you build safety within yourself, you naturally create safety in your relationships. The world's a mirror. Got to remember that. No matter what your past looks like, you are capable of having safe, loving, connected, fulfilling relationships. It starts with creating the love within yourself first. And if you're ready to go deeper into this kind of healing, this is the exact kind of work that we do inside of Glowed Up. It's all about building your self-love and self-image from the inside out, which transforms every area of your life, especially relationships. I'm so proud of you for even listening to episodes like this. This is the work that changes literally everything. So I love you. I appreciate you. I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Screenshot this, share it with a friend, tag me on Instagram. Let me know how you like it. I'm so grateful for you. Again, thank you. And I hope that you have an incredible rest of your week. As always, chat soon.